Welcome, Melissa. So happy to have you here. You're coming from Australia today, so we're on Skype. So if the picture quality is not that great, you know why. We're halfway around the world. And today we're going to be talking about your fabulous book, Mastering Your Mean Girl. You've written a number of books, and I love this one. It really resonated with me. It's really raw. It's really beautifully written. And just so much love. I can just feel just such genuine love coming through the pages. So thank you so much for writing it, and thank you so much for being part of the program with us. So tell us, what inspired you to sit down and write this, because it's amazing.
The inspiration came from me hitting rock bottom back in 2010. I ended up in hospital with a whole host of health issues, and I was very unhappy and very unwell. And that is where the inspiration for this really sparked. Before that, I was living a very, very different life. I was a professional dancer, and I did some acting and TV presenting, and I was burning the candle at both ends. I was people-pleasing. I wasn't nourishing my body. I was flogging my body at the gym. I was surrounding myself with unhealthy relationships, and I was kind of doing work that was no longer true for me. And as a result, my body shut down, and it gave me all of these little warning signs along my journey that I didn't listen to. So the universe gave me a big slap across the face and was like, I'm going to have to put you in hospital in order for you to stop and listen. And when I was in hospital, I was dealing with depression, anxiety, panic attacks, eating issues, and a whole host of health issues, from chronic fatigue, thyroid problems, hormonal imbalance, SIBO, candida, eczema, acne, high levels of mercury, so many different things. And the final straw for me was I contacted the cold sore virus, and I'd never had a cold sore before in my life. And I had them all over my face, like even up under my eyes, in my mouth and down my throat. And if that's not a big enough sign from the universe to stop and look, then I don't know what is.
Yeah, because you see it in the mirror every single day. It's like, hello.
And the universe knew for me that the only way that I would stop is that if it physically made me. So my entire immune system was so shot that the severity of the cold sore virus overtook my entire body and was eating away at me, and hence why I ended up in hospital. So from there, even though that was the darkest and hardest point of my entire life, it's like I could finally surrender in that hospital bed. It's like I could stop pushing. I could stop pretending that I was happy. On the outside, my life looked like I had it all together. I looked like I had a glamorous life, but I was dying on the inside. I was very unfulfilled. And my measure of happiness, health, and success was on everything external and not internal, because I was never taught this stuff. I was never taught about self-love at school. So from there, even though that was the darkest point in my life, there was this tiny glimmer of hope deep within me, and that was my intuition. And that said to me, if you sort yourself out, you will live a life that is wildly wealthy, fabulously healthy, and bursting with love. And my mean girl's like, no, that won't happen for you. That doesn't happen to someone like you. You're not a lucky one. You're not wealthy enough. You're not rich enough. You're not whatever enough. But even though that mean girl voice was so loud and still there, that was the first time in my life that I followed my intuition, even though I didn't even know what my intuition was. That tiny little glimmer of hope deep within me, I just followed it. And from there, I dove headfirst into this spiritual self-development world. I read every book I could get my hands on. I read from the great teachers of Eckhart Tolle, Deepak Chopra, Marianne Williamson, Louise Hay, Bruce Lipton, and I just became obsessed with this world. And it's like my eyes were finally open to another way of living and being. And for so many years, fear had been driven into me that I had no idea that love was also an option. From there, I went and studied holistic health coaching. I studied life coaching, meditation, acuenergetics, and yoga teacher training. And like I said, I just immersed myself in this world. This was back in 2010, and I started a blog. I started sharing what I was learning. I started coaching women one-on-one, and began speaking. I got asked to then speak at different things. I started writing ebooks and creating online products and programs, and it's just snowballed from there. And now, I have this beautiful masterpiece that I love, that's, just launched into the world. And I speak all around the world, and I create online products and programs to help inspire women to be the best versions of themselves. So, this has been such an amazing journey, and that's where the inspiration started. This book is a manifestation of, wanting and wishing there was something available when I had hit rock bottom, or when I was younger. This is the guide that I wish someone had have handed me.
Yeah. Yeah. I know it seems to be a very common trait, particularly for women, to feel just that what they're doing is not enough, or that they're not enough, or that their dreams or aspirations are far-fetched. Who are you to achieve these things? And, you sort of made mention it in the book, and the whole idea around worthiness and believing that you're worth something. Or, I love the example that you talked about with your husband about saying, oh, I'm so lucky, I'm so blessed to have you. And, sort of him saying, well, actually, no, you're worth it. You deserve it, and I think there is this whole kind of feeling like, a lot of women have that feeling of, well, who am I, and am I worth it? And I think this, for me, from my perspective, is what drives a lot of those underlying bad food choices. Like you talk in the book about eating cookies because you're bored. It's not because you really, you're not stimulated, you're not excited about what you're doing in your life, or, what's happening in that day. So you're reaching for something, you're seeking something. And the cookie, it feels a little bit of that feeling. So you think, oh, I'll just have the cookie, but it's not ultimately fulfilling that sort of space inside of you. So yeah, I really feel like this is, it truly is something that, every woman should read, but like when they're like, teenagers, not later in life. I mean, obviously you can read it anytime, but it's sort of, I feel like it's the foundation that we all need to hear, that, your voice is important, and that we all have it. We all have that fear, and it doesn't matter what situation you're in. It doesn't matter what league you're in or where you're at in your life. It happens to everybody. So I think there's this kind of idea that, once you've made it, then that goes away, so yeah.
No, like you mentioned, the ego is always going to be there. And there's a lot of spiritual texts that talk about banishing the ego, killing the ego, or smashing the ego. It's about becoming besties with her. And just for those people who aren't aware, your mean girl is that egoic voice inside your head. You can call it your ego, your smaller self, your inner critic, Fred, Mary, I don't care. But for me, mean girl really resonates, and it resonates with a lot of women because we can all relate to that really mean voice. So, it's not about killing her. It's about becoming besties with her and using her as a guide to get you back on your path of love, your true path. That's how I see it anyway.
So could you share maybe, obviously you can't share everything that's in the book, but like, maybe 3 simple things that we could do right away just to kind of resolve some of those feelings and that mean girl sort of propping up all the time?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a little 3-step process, a little 3 6-step Mastering Your Mean Girl process, which we can walk everyone through right now and they can start to do today. Obviously, the first step is going out and buying the book and reading the book. But if you want to just start to implement something right now, then we can take you through that process. I love quick 3-step processes. We've all got stuff to do in our lives. So anything that is really easily tangible and digestible, I love. So this is why I love this process. So the first step in Mastering Your Mean Girl is awareness. Once you are aware of the things that she says, you can't unknow what you now know. Get clear on those things that your mean girl says. So awareness is the first step. The second step is once those thoughts come up, like once she plants one of those thoughts, like maybe it's you're not smart enough to start your own business, or you may as well just eat that chocolate cookie because you're worthless anyway, whatever it is. The second step is gently closing the door on that thought. Gently. The third step is choosing love instead. So maybe your thought was you're not smart enough to start your own business. You can gently close the door on that thought and then choose a loving thought such as I am smart and capable and I can do anything that I put my whole heart into. Or something like that. What resonates with you? We've got to find the words and the terminology, the dialogue that resonates most with you. That's so important. So that's the little 3-step process. Awareness, gently closing the door, and then choosing love instead. It's a very simple, easy process, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be challenging, especially if you've had 30, 40, 50 years of a very, very loud mean girl.
Yeah, I love that. I with the third step, I often found for me using a past experience that I can sort of say, well, I achieved this and this, so therefore I should be able to achieve this, you know. So, and sometimes you don't have a reference depending on what you're doing. I mean, like I've never written a book, so, you know, if she came up with something around that, I'd be like, oh, well, I've never done that before. So, but yeah, sometimes having some other thing that you have achieved is kind of, you know, reinforces that, look, it is possible that there's something that I can do. So I found that helped me quite a bit as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you. That's fantastic. So I wanted to pull out a statement that I really liked in here. And it's basically saying that, okay, remember being wildly wealthy, fabulously healthy, and bursting with love is not a giant leap. It's an inch-by-inch journey. And just like a tree is always either growing or dying, as long as you are constantly taking action and moving forward, you are growing and evolving. It's when we are standing still or going backward that we are dying. That's so beautiful. I just love that because it's so true. We often, especially women who are going down this natural approach for particularly endometriosis, it can take a long time. You know, it's a very complex condition. So a lot of women, you know, will try maybe a few supplements, or they might try a diet for a couple of months and then dismiss it. And, you know, and also they don't measure, you know, so they don't start off their journey and say, right, these are all the symptoms I was experiencing. And then in 2 months' time, well, actually, I don't have these, and these. So I love how you've sort of touched on that in terms of acknowledging that everything is a journey. And whether it's, you know, changing your eating or whether it's changing your mindset, it isn't something that's just going to happen overnight. So, you know, even when it comes to your mean girl, you know, it's acknowledging that could take a while to acknowledge, you know, that there are these voices that come up that affect you. I mean, I've become so much more aware since reading the book, because it's like, you don't even realize, you just suddenly feel grumpy. You just suddenly like, oh, I don't feel like doing anything. And, you know, you just suddenly feel really flat, and you can't work out what it was, what triggered that thought pattern, until you kind of track back and you go, oh, I know why, you know. And, you know, you talk a lot about sort of the comparison game and, you know, sort of comparing yourself to other people. And I notice for myself, that's one of my biggest triggers, is I'll look at other people and what they're doing, and then I just feel really, really low after that. And it's like, why is that? You know, so it's a interesting situation that often happens. So, yeah.
Comparison is one of the sneakiest games of your mean girl. So we can either, open the door to the comparisonitis, or we can close it and choose to see it as inspiration. Everything is a choice. Everything comes back down to our choice. And ultimately we have two choices in every moment, and it's to choose love or to choose fear. Not 50 choices. We've only ever got two. So everything that we do, comes back to love or fear. That's it.
Wow, fantastic.
Cool. And same with, with your health. Are you eating this way because you love your body so much and you want to nurture it and nourish it, your beautiful temple, or are you eating because you are punishing your body because you overate last night, or you're not feeling good enough or skinny enough? Everything that you put in your mouth is an opportunity to nourish or to, pollute your beautiful temple. And even, if you have health conditions like, anything to do with fertility, you can look at it like an opportunity to nourish your body even more. Okay, well, obviously something is going on with my body, obviously. How can I nourish it and give it so much more love so that it can heal? How can I look after myself so much that it can heal? Because given half the chance and the right environment, the body is amazing. It is incredible. But if we are polluting it with junk and polluting it with thoughts, you're not creating the right environment for your body to thrive. So we need to make sure that we're creating the right environment and we're doing everything from a place of love, and that will create space for your body to heal and thrive.
Perfectly said. Wonderful. No, I love that. Well, thank you so much. I definitely think everyone should get themselves a copy of this book. It is really amazing. And, once you've read it, I just have it on my desk and I literally just will flick open to a page and read a page just randomly in the day sometimes, just to, get you out of any negative headspaces. So, thank you so much for creating it. It's wonderful that you've created such a beautiful gift for everyone to enjoy.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the work that you do and, sharing your love for the book as well. Every time we share something that's really helped us, we're part of the ripple effect and we inspire other women around us, and then those women inspire those women, and it's this beautiful ripple effect by you just being of service and sharing what's your truth. But I did just want to say, if anyone would like to buy the book, you can head to masteringyourmeangirl.com and you can get it online, or you can get it in all good bookstores. And I've also created the Mastering Your Mean Girl 10-week activation program that helps complement the book. And I've got some meditations as well, the Mastering Your Mean Girl meditations that really help you implement everything that you've read. So there's 10 meditations, there's 10 chapters. After each chapter, you can do the meditation to really help you dive deep into everything that you've read in the book, because reading it isn't enough. We've got to put into action the things that we've spoken about, because nothing changes if nothing changes. And if you want a different external world, you've got to start with the internal world.
Cool. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure.